Wednesday addiction. Humpin' it with Mello, D83, and the Maestro.
Hello and welcome everyone. The week is almost over. You're halfway there. It's Wednesday, hump day, and you're now humping it with Mello, D83, and the Maestro. Please get your mind out of the gutter.
Good evening, podcast fam. Thank you for joining us on another beautiful Wednesday evening. Fellow co-hosts, how are y'all doing this evening?
My stomach is double dutching. But I'm okay. I'm here. And I'm grateful to be here.
That's amazing. You know,
It hurts.
thanks for being a team player.
No, it's all good.
I was wondering if he was gonna actually mention that.
Couldn't help it. It's the only thing on my mind right now. It's pretty
Yes,
rough.
I know how that can be.
Yes. But
It's up,
here I am.
and that's what matters.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
In other words, you have some on your mind. You get it?
I guess. Well, no, not quite. Hasn't manifested. Quite there. Okay, we're gonna change the subject now.
It's better on your mind than in your pants.
Did you see the hesitation though?
Yeah, because I couldn't say it without laughing.
The hesitation was amazing.
Oh my goodness. Well, tonight's discussion, personal stories and life experiences. We're going to share a little bit with you of something we find that might be beneficial or interesting.
Or not, depending on, Just sit back and buckle up. How about that?
Speaking of hesitating, go ahead.
Oh no, you go right on ahead.
I wish I would have hesitated and didn't say I do. Anyways, that's a joke. Just joking.
Well, all right.
That came from left field.
Yeah. There's always truth said in jest. I will say that. That's an old saying.
I have heard that.
That's an old saying. But that's okay, man. In hindsight, we realize things sometimes. And it's all right. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I think as we've talked about, as we continue to adult, we realize a lot of stuff as we continue on our journey. I know that I am definitely not the same person now that I was even 5 years ago.
You're much older.
I was literally going to say, so you mean when you were in your 60s?
Oh,
The disrespect.
see, I didn't go there. I just said you.
You started it. He just finished it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll take that.
But I think I'll share something with you guys tonight. We touch on it a little bit pretty much every time we're on air. But my personal story is going back to school in my 40s. A lot of people might say...
How long ago was that?
Like right now. Like in the present.
Oh, my bad.
Stop it. Like, what would make you decide to go back to school? There's a lot of reasons why people make that decision. Sometimes it's a career change. Sometimes there's something more that they're looking for. Sometimes it's the pursuit of their love of learning. That's me. I love learning. But
well, why does she geek out like that just now? I'm just saying.
That sounds like a rhetorical question.
Because she didn't believe it.
Yeah. She was just like, I love learning. All right, I'm done. Please continue.
Oh, gosh. But about 2 years ago, Well, my journey was actually going to start about 3 years ago, full time. But I've actually been in school since like about college, specifically since about 1999, taking classes here and there. And as you know, life's.
You a lifer, boy. You
Yeah, I've been told that.
man.
And I have accumulated, I had about 20 some credits accumulated. It's not a whole bunch, but you know, if I had thought about it and like really like buckled down, I could have probably done it in a few years as opposed to just taking one class here. Then maybe a few years later, oh, maybe I'll go back and take another class. Unless you're really dedicated to doing that, it usually, at least for me, some people may be like me, it doesn't work out because there's not really a drive to get it done. You're like, I finished a course, but I still have so much that I still have to do. And that's kind of how I looked at it. So opportunity arose a couple years back, and I was like, I'm not working right now. I have time, and this is something that I think would be good to fill that time right now. And, why not just go ahead and get it out the way? Go full time. I can do that right now. And so that's what I did. So as of May, I graduated with my associates. And in the fall, I will be starting, with my bachelor's. So I have those prerequisites, which is amazing, out of the way. And I can focus on the nitty gritty. I can't remember if I had mentioned before, I am a science major. I planned it as to focus on environmental studies once I get to Randolph-Macon. And that can be kind of a broad subject, but it's right in the vicinity of what I'm really passionate about, and the environment, conservation, sustainability, which I'm sure y'all have heard me talk about before. But I'm proud of myself of getting as far as I have gotten. And believe it or not, 2 years seemed daunting when I first started, but those 2 years are out of the way. So, if you really buckle down and do it, it might seem like a lot, but you'd be surprised at how quickly it can go. And now I'm not going to say it's that fun for everyone, but for me, I've really enjoyed it. Not my math classes, though, which I know I've talked about before, but everything else I have enjoyed. And I really think that anybody considering, if you can swing it, even if you are working, I think it's well worth it, because unfortunately, you'll be able to get further when you get a degree in certain things. That's not for everybody, not for every profession field. But if it's something that you really want to pursue, I think in the end, it's really worth it. And I'm glad I made it as far as I have so far. And I'm really looking forward to the next chapter and see where that's going to take me. And who knows, maybe I'll work on my master's degree after that. But yeah, it's a little bit harder the older you get than when you first come out of high school, when your brain is young and in that mode of learning. You do have to put a little bit more time and effort. You have adult responsibilities, kids, things like that, but it's definitely doable. So that's my story,
You
guys.
said it gets harder as what happens?
As you get older. What is your fixation with that?
Must be super hard for you then. Cat.
Oh,
My bad. It was brewing.
that's why your stomach hurts.
It don't hurt no more because I'm laughing. Oh gosh, man! The last time when you first started college, man, they had a stone and chisel for your first tablet, didn't they?
No, they didn't.
That's what you had to use. So
No.
right
Like if Dad were still here, I could ask him if that's what he used.
there. How do you bring Dad into this? What a deflection. No. We're talking about your age. Your ancientness.
But yet you look more ancient than me.
That's okay. That's okay. I might look it, but I'm not it. I'm just saying.
So, Maestro,
Huh.
what's your story or personal experience?
I don't have one.
Yes, you do.
I don't have one. I'm just here. My personal experience was I was brought into this world without my consent. I was made to work. I gotta pay bills. I didn't ask for this.
God.
I did not ask for this.
Yes. It's funny because I was literally talking something like that to the guys who were playing pickleball today, and obviously
Nice.
the people I was playing pickleball with are a lot older than I. And I was going, I was talking about work and stuff, and I said, I just want to be a kid again. And he said, yeah, I miss those days. I said, yeah, man, not a care in the world. If I could go back, I definitely would not rush adulthood. I would just chill out and enjoy the moment. And he said, yeah, my mother used to always tell me that, and I just knew she was wrong.
Yeah. But it's inevitable.
This is true.
Yeah.
Because, as a kid, you see adults and they look like they're doing all the cool stuff and get to make all the cool decisions. And so we rush it until we get here. Because there's no disclaimer. There needs to be a law that needs to be a disclaimer on adulting.
Well, I think our parents are trying to give us that disclaimer, but we don't think they're cool, so we don't believe them.
Dang. Tell us how you really feel about your parents, Mel.
Well, that's how I felt back then. I don't feel that way now
Disrespectful.
because I am a parent. And I had to tell mine the same thing, and they did not believe me.
They still don't. Still don't. But it is what it is. Did three you getting ready to say something?
I think one personal story for me would be one of the moments in my life where I wanted to change the way that I was acting towards my parents, mainly my mother, who's a really good mother. She did her best. And I used to give her a hard time. I was always in trouble at school, and grades were extremely bad. I was constantly getting kicked out, expelled, suspended, yada yada. And there was this one time where we were on the road together, as a family, and I'd never seen my stepdad and my mother in an actual argument before. But this time, they actually were arguing slightly over something so stupid too about the radio. It was ridiculous. But my mother started crying, and I'd never seen my mother cry before. And I'll never forget, I was sitting in the back seat, and I remember looking through the rear view, and seeing her eyes, and she looked up at me, and she was crying. That's the first time I ever saw her cry, and man, I felt some type of way. And I said, man, imagine all the times that I made her upset, and I never saw her, cry. And I said, I need to make a difference. And it was in that moment I was like, I'm going to start acting right. I'm going to start doing better because I don't like that.
Make that change.
Yes. It's looking in the man in the mirror.
Yeah. That's real.
Yes.
That's a real man in the mirror moment. But that's dope. I mean, that's kind of... Did it actually happen, though, is the question.
Yeah. I mean...
Okay. Because the jury's still out. I'm just saying.
Dang.
Not saying nothing else the rest of the podcast.
Well,
that story was a lot better than the other ones I had.
We don't want to know. I'm pretty sure.
I would have kept them PG as possible.
As possible. Wow. It's pretty bad then.
But you were still in school, right, when this happened?
Correct.
Yeah. Usually it takes, I guess,
No,
teenagers till they're.
I take that back. No, I was not in school because remember I dropped out at an early age.
Were you still a
So
teenager?
yes.
Okay.
So
I
still
mean,
around the
still.
same age, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, usually it takes teenagers a while to really understand sometimes the hurt that they inflict on their parents. Um, and I think sometimes they don't realize that until their 20s or later or until they become parents. But for you to kind of realize it in that moment, I think that says a lot about you because a lot of times, again, for you to have to self reflect and be like, have I caused that to her and just never seen it? That takes a lot of, inward looking just to kind of, you know, dissect that. So maybe my
Yeah.
boys will get there one day. Don't look like that much.
I was over here in
Y'all
my
are
own
terrible.
world. That's all. I didn't say a
Y'all are
word.
terrible.
I ain't say nothing. Can't blame me for this one.
Your face said it all.
I was thinking about stuff.
Oh,
Hmm.
I mean, you know, it's contemplating really hard.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I was trying to share my story. I was trying to think of a story. That's what it was.
Do you have a similar story to
Hmm.
to me? I think that's like really intriguing.
What is that story?
You're going back to school.
Oh, I went back to school because I took a job that I shouldn't have took, and I spent a year in HE double hockey sticks. So when I got out, I got free. It was like, yeah, I ain't never going back. So I went to school, I got my degree, and I changed careers because I
Dang.
wasn't going back. That was my story. It
It
was,
make it more interesting than that.
hey, listen, that's the gist of it. Listen, but there's a message in there. You know, I got tired of doing what I was doing. I didn't want to do it no more. So that was my motivation to go find something else. You know,
Right.
luckily, with my something else was something that I enjoyed and I've done for years. And and that's dealing with computers and things like that. So IT field came natural to me. But my motivation was because I ain't want to go through what I went through before. I had enough.
Right.
Being in the food and beverage industry is taxing.
That I will agree with.
Get that.
It takes a special person to be able to deal with people, and you get some of the worst in the restaurant industry, in the food and beverage industry.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I could say I used to be a server at Cracker Barrel
Mm.
um, for a year, and that was it. I I didn't mind the people that I worked with so much, but dealing with the general public.
Mm-hmm.
So during this time is when they still had a smoking section in Cracker Barrel. So there was the three sections. You had the first two, which were non-smoking, and then the one usually furthest in was the smoking section. I'll never forget. I had this gentleman because we always had the ceiling fan circulating because of the smoking section. A gentleman had asked me that I was serving. He's like, "Could y'all turn the ceiling fans off?" I was like, "Sir, I don't think we can, but I can go ask my manager, and I'll let you know." Someone asked my manager. He's like, "We can't turn them off because of the smoking section. We got to keep that air circulating." So I came back to the gentleman and I said, "Sir, this is what my manager said because of the smoking section. We can't turn them off." And he didn't he did get a little indignant with me, like it was my fault. I didn't turn them on. And, of course, my service was not negative towards him in any way. I was just as cordial and nice. He left me no tip because I couldn't do anything about the ceiling fan, as if it were my fault. And I had several stories, not necessarily with the ceiling fans, but things that were out of my control. And people took it out on me and basically said, I'm not tipping you because I don't like what somebody else did. And I was like, at that point, I'm like, this is definitely not the industry for me. I can't rely on other people's feelings or moods. Be able to make sure I get paid every day.
Yeah, I can dig that.
And sometimes you're just the little man on the totem pole. It has nothing to do with you, but because they're having a bad day or something going on in their life, you just happen to be the one that they take it out on, which is so unfair. Why
What do
is
you
that
have
funny?
to say? What do you have to say? Huh? Come on.
That's the
No,
logic.
go ahead. Speak your mind. Come on, speak your mind. I got a feeling that it's aimed towards me and how non-tall I am.
That would explain that.
I can't get it out.
It's almost as bad as yesterday. I was playing basketball as I always do, and I had my shot blocked 4 times, and I was just dying laughing. I couldn't just, one of the dudes was like, he said, T, the crazy thing is, he didn't even have to jump to block it. I was like, come on, man. He was like, yeah, he didn't even jump. He just was like,
Oh my.
Blame Mello. She slipped it in there. She knew what she was doing. Low man
I had
on
no
the totem
idea. I had no idea.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. I'm going to get it together.
I know what you mean about the food and beverage industry.
it's a good thing I'm not like really close to you right now, because I would probably punch you in the stomach.
That would be so mean. Why would you do that? Listen. I ain't going to say that. That would be a big mistake on your part, sir. Oh, gosh.
Oh gosh.
I think my experience, I spent from the time I 15-ish, 16.
Yeah.
I spent eons in there, maybe 20 years, give or take, in the food and beverage industry. So I was kind of behind the scenes, doing some purchasing. I was front and center, cashiering. I was managing multiple restaurants, so I've done my fair share. And I will say, the only thing I didn't mind so much was the behind the scenes, the purchasing stuff. But the one I hated the most was becoming a manager and having to deal with customers outright. It's insane.
Oh
They
yeah.
people feel so privileged.
Entitled.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. When they step in a restaurant. So that's not everybody, but there are certain people who make it their mission to cause the scene, to try and get free food. It's like, and then the expectations are unreal. Like,
Right.
I'll never forget. I I got called out to this table. I was managing a restaurant, and the gentleman was unhappy with his meal. So I get to the table, and I look down, and his plate is clean. He had a salad. He had a couple of scraps of lettuce left, but everything else was gone. And he proceeded to have the audacity to say, "What are y'all people fixing back there? That wasn't fit for a pig. It was disgusting. It was this, that, and the third." And I just looked at him. I said, "But you ate it." Needless to say, that didn't go over so well. And but ultimately, I think he was just looking for a free meal. He thought if he complained enough, he'd get it for free, right? Because he clearly ate it, But it's amazing how the entitlement that people have in the restaurant business.
That would have been a perfect opportunity for you to say that too. Well, some pig just ate this. What do you know?
Yeah, but
what do you know?
I don't want to get fired, I don't need in my job at the moment, so.
Oh, those things are overrated.
Yeah, they are. But they're a necessity, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard many stories, but Mom, she was a manager too, and she had to. I tell you one thing that I
we
envy
worked
about
together.
her. The way she was able to handle people with such grace and humility. No matter how wrong they were.
I did that back then too. I've since changed. After getting out of that, I've since changed. I could never go back to it because I wouldn't last a day. I was so serious. Because I would have told him, "Listen, bro, I don't know what you thought, but you gonna pay me for that salad. You ate it all. I don't care what you got going on. You thought you was gonna get a free meal, but you ain't. Go ahead and give me my money."
Yeah.
It's like that. We did have a few instances where we had to call the police though, and people could get arrested for it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Usually it was because they got drunk.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
We did have a few that tried to skip out on the bill though. And got caught. Yeah. So
you were able to catch them. That's a good thing because sometimes I've had people. Real quick, another Cracker Barrel story. We had a busy night this one night, and this gentleman, he was by himself, got his meal and everything, and then I think there was like another lady who was by herself at another table or something, and he's like, "Bring me her bill. I'll pay for her bill too." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." So, at Cracker Barrel, you don't pay the waiters or waitresses or
you
servers.
take it to the front.
Correct. So, he gets up, proceeds to go. And then my manager comes to me. He's like, "Why do we still have 2 open bills?" I'm like, "I'm sorry?" He's like, "There's this bill," like looking at the numbers, the references. I was like, "I remember this gentleman. He said he was going to pay for this lady's bill. So I brought him her bill. And he paid for neither."
So they both, that was a scam. That was a setup. They both went to, they got a free meal out of that.
It was something because fortunately that didn't happen very much. I could probably count on one hand how many times that happened to me in the year that I was there. And most of half of those times were that one night. So my manager didn't take it too hard, as if this was something like maybe I was in cahoots with. But it was really strange. And, I was like, how do you deal with that?
People, man. People.
But he tipped. He tipped, though. Just didn't pay the bill.
That's interesting.
Very. Could have been an honest mistake. I don't know.
It could have been. It could have been.
But, hey.
That could have been. Because he left you money.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. But
I ain't going back. I ain't going back.
I understand. I don't think I could do it either unless it was like a last alternative.
Yeah.
That's probably be one of my least favorite sectors to work in. kudos to those people who have to do it every day. Some people like it because they're people.
I know what you get ready to say. They're people person.
People.
Yeah.
People. God dang on, people. I'm gonna be saying that all day tomorrow. I'm gonna say that all day tomorrow.
Say that they're people oriented.
Yes.
And they're just very gregarious, get along with everybody, but that's not me, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe the animals will like me better. Don't do that, Maestro.
I ain't said nothing. I ain't said a word.
I think that'll do it for us tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, comments, ideas, we'd love to hear from you. And until next week, same time, same place. We'll see you then. Peace out.